Started from a DM, now she wanna see him. If you wanna link, baby, gotta be the weekend. Just follow me.
반갑습니다. 이번에도 레전드 트레이더를 알아보는 시간을 가져보도록 하겠습니다. 지난 영상에 올려드렸었던 매년 500억씩 나스닥을 통해서 돈을 벌어들이는 젊은 영인 니치를 소개해드렸는데 반응이 꽤 괜찮았습니다. 그래서 이번 시간도 준비를 해봤는데요. 오늘 소개해드릴 레전드 트레이더는 바로 피에르 앙두랑이라는 트레이더입니다. 이름에서도 알 수 있듯이 프랑스 사람이고요. 특히 2008년 이후부터 지금까지 약 900%에서 1300%의 누적 수익을 이끌어냈습니다. 이건 단순히 개인이 개인 자금을 관리하는 게 아니라 천문학적인 고객들의 돈을 위탁받아서 몇 천억 이상의 시드를 굴리면서 10배 이상의 수익을 이끌어냈기 때문에 경천동지의 수익률이라고 볼 수 있겠죠. 유튜브에서 찾아보면은 몇 개의 영상들이 나오는데 대부분 타이틀이 원유킹이라고 합니다. 21세기에 살아있는 제2의 록펠러라고도 할 정도로 그의 명성은 유명한데요. 바로 알아보도록 할게요. 참고로 해당 영상은 해외 유튜버가 이야기한 스토리를 그대로 번역해서 가져온 것입니다. 그럼 같이 알아보시죠.
Pierre started his career at Goldman Sachs as an oil trader in the commodities trading unit in Singapore. Now, after leaving Goldman, he joined Bank of America as a principal in oil trading. Then he joined Vitol, the world's largest oil trading company, and became one of their most successful traders in the company, earning him a bonus payment of over $20 million at the end of one particularly successful year. With this success, in 2007, Pierre co-founded the hedge fund investment group Blue Gold with $300 million in assets and had immediate success with a 208% return in 2008. By 2010, the fund was managing over $2.4 billion in capital. However, the fund lost 34% in 2011, and by 2012, the fund was closed after Pierre and his other co-founder, Dennis Krima, decided to go their separate ways. However, in the following year, in 2013, Pierre launched his own hedge fund called Andurand Capital. Again, Pierre had immediate success with his Andurand Commodities Fund, finishing the year in 2013 as one of the best performing commodities hedge fund with a 25% return. In 2014, the fund generated a 38% return by correctly forecasting the sharp decline in crude oil prices. By 2016, Andurand Capital was managing over $1.2 billion in assets. Pierre's investment approach has paid off as he has consistently delivered strong returns to his investors, with his funds generating an average annual return of between 25 to 35%. And this is why Pierre is often considered one of the top hedge fund managers in the world. And in 2019, Forbes listed Andurand as one of the top 20 highest earning hedge fund managers with an estimated net worth of $1.2 billion. But Pierre's success hasn't come without its challenges. In 2018 and 2019, his main fund suffered consecutive losses in back-to-back years due to the extremely choppy period for energy markets and his big bet on diesel prices, which never materialized. However, Pierre came back in a strong way in 2020 as one of his funds posted its biggest ever gains as the global pandemic rolled energy markets and Pierre was betting that oil prices would head lower. Pierre's investment strategy is centered around his fundamental analysis of the commodities market, particularly the oil industry. His investment philosophy is based on his deep understanding of the supply and demand dynamics of the oil market and his ability to use his knowledge to identify profitable trading opportunities. Therefore, he focuses a lot of his time in analyzing data, studying market trends, and building models to identify profitable trading opportunities. Now, he looks for factors that can affect the demand for oil, such as changes in global economic growth rates, geopolitical tensions, and advances in alternative energy sources. Now, once Pierre has identified an attractive investment opportunity, he takes a position through the use of various financial instruments, specifically futures contracts and options. His philosophy in utilizing these derivative contracts to trade lies in the probabilities of his bets, as well as the fact that he may lose small amounts of money when he is wrong, but win big when he hits the target. In addition, he utilizes a range of trading strategies, including long and short positions, spread trades, and arbitrage. His investment philosophy is influenced by his belief in the long-term potential of the commodities market. He takes a patient and disciplined approach to investing with a focus on generating strong returns over the long term rather than chasing short-term gains. Pierre has been extremely successful in timing the oil markets and has profited from almost every large oil price swing in the last 17 years. Now, his first initial fortune started in 2003 when he made $200 million for his employer, Vitol, by betting on China's rise in the world would send oil prices soaring. Now, as you can see from this oil chart, oil prices skyrocketed from as low as $25 per barrel in 2003 to over $140 by 2008. His bonus for that year was $20 million. One of Pierre's most notable trades as a fund manager was his successful bet on the oil price collapse in 2014. Now, at the time, the price of oil was hovering around $100 per barrel, but based on Pierre's fundamental analysis of the global oil market, he believed that the market was oversupplied and due for a sharp correction. Now, his reasoning was that there was a glut of oil on the global market at the time, as production from countries like the US and Saudi Arabia had surged. This oversupply put downward pressure on oil prices, and also global demand for oil was weaker than expected at the time due to slower economic growth in both China and Europe. Now, to take advantage of this opportunity, Pierre's hedge fund took a short position on oil by selling oil futures contracts. This meant that he was betting on the price of oil falling in the future. Now, Pierre's bet started paying off as the price of oil began to fall sharply later in 2014, and by the end of the year, the price of oil had dropped by over 40%, reaching a low of around $50 per barrel. As a result, Pierre's hedge fund generated significant profits from his short position on oil futures. Now, it's not known how much he made on that one trade, but his hedge fund generated returns of around 38% that year, largely driven by the profits from this trade. Another one of Pierre's big bets on oil was in 2017. Now, Pierre reversed his bearish stance on oil and took a long position on crude oil futures. His bet paid off as oil prices rallied throughout the year, and his hedge fund generated strong returns as a result. Now, according to reports, his fund returned around 14% to investors that particular year. However, it was in 2020 that Pierre had his biggest returns ever. After 2 consecutive years of losing money, 2 of his funds soared by 148% and 68% after he spotted early in the year that the coronavirus in China had the potential to upend oil markets. Notably, back in February when oil was hovering around $55 per barrel, he accurately predicted that prices would plummet into negative territory. He noted that even his team thought he was crazy when he told them oil prices could go negative, but all the research he studied on the virus convinced him that it was not just China's problem, but the entire world was in big trouble and that oil demand would plummet. Well, it did in April, during one of the most tumultuous days in market history. The US crude benchmark, West Texas Intermediate, collapsed to minus $40 per barrel. Now, through a series of large-scale futures and option bets that Pierre made against the oil price in early February, he made a fortune and cemented his reputation as a trader who performs best when markets are at their most volatile.
영상 잘 보시고 오셨나요? 저는 이 영상을 보면서 깨달은 게 몇 가지가 있는데, 확실히 자신만의 투자 철학이 있기 때문에 이렇게 흔들리지 않고 장기적으로 큰 누적 수익을 거둬들일 수 있지 않았나 생각합니다. 기술적 분석 이외에도 펀더멘탈을 분석함으로써 장기적으로 수익을 가져가는 해안도 놀라웠지만, 놀랍게도 레전드 트레이더들은 모두 손익비를 중요하게 생각한다는 겁니다. 2년 이상 연속으로 손실을 볼 때도 내 기법이 틀렸을 거다 라고 좌절하지 않고 계속 한 우물만 판 것이죠. 잃을 때 적게 잃고 벌 때 크게 하는 트레이더라고 생각하시면 됩니다. 특히 데이 트레이더인 중장기 이상으로 선물 포지션을 가져갈 수는 없겠지만, 자신만의 투자 그리고 트레이딩 원칙이 있다면 상승장이든 하락장이든 여러분들은 큰 수익을 얻어갈 수 있다고 생각합니다. 함투사에서 리뉴얼 멤버십이 곧 오픈합니다. 유튜브에 공개된 기법들을 가지고 검증하는 시간이면서 수익도 같이 보고 손실도 같이 보면서 배우는 특강이라고 생각하시면 됩니다. 같이 함께 성장하는 그날까지 저희 함투사가 도와드리겠습니다.
Started from a DM, now she wanna see him. If you wanna link, baby, gotta be the weekend. Just follow me.